If loving you was easy. Chapter 1. Janet. It happened again. Oh my gosh, what was wrong with me? How does someone have that power over you without even being close to you? Especially when you haven't seen him in the past 3 years. He looked so delicious walking towards the entrance of Selfridge's department store, dressed in a grey pinstripe suit, with a pink shirt, complemented with a grey tie and his Paul Smith loafers, his leather man bag by his side, strutting his sexy body delicately to the rhythm of the summer wind. My heart pounded in my chest at the sight of him, and that brief moment we had shared 5 years ago came flooding back to me. We had known each other for 2 years whilst at college, and we always had this close relationship which made us the best of friends. Every moment after lectures we were together, in the social room, watching the team play basketball, or just chilling in the cafeteria. Our daily routine always started with each other, waiting for the same train and even chilling at each other's houses. Over the years it practically became my second home, his mother my mother. But after our stretch at college ended, he made the decision to attend Brunel University to study law, and I had gone to Coventry. It was devastating at first because he was like my right arm. We would talk on the phone every night, talking about every and anything. But being at university, we had to get used to the distance and the substitution of talking on the phone instead of the freedom of popping round one another's houses when needed. Uni life changed us, and eventually the calls withered away. It soon became a bonus to speak to him every few months. I didn't hold it against him because I knew the pressures we were both under and the expectations we had to fulfill. But then that night finally came when we could not contain our feelings anymore. The passion took over and the lust got the better of us. We had met up at a charity dinner for the Black and Aware Foundation, which was a huge business event for ethnic business owners and inspiring entrepreneurs. The annual event was held at Britannia Hotel near Manchester city centre. It was a beautiful hotel, fit for purpose. I was sitting with some friends which I'd known from work and previous networking events, discussing recent political events, drinking champagne and adoring the music which the DJ was playing. I sat and watched the couples and groups of people in the middle of the dance floor, admiring them move their bodies in time with the music, secretly wishing that I had someone who could have accompanied me tonight. There was this one couple who must have been in their late 50s, really having a go on the floor, showing the younger couples how to move to the jazz music precisely. I smiled. The atmosphere was so calming. It was pleasant to see so many successful and inspiring black people. Happy couples of all ages, socialising together, enjoying the music and the splendour of the venue. I looked across the room, eagerly scanning the rest of the guests, admiring the way which they had all dressed up in ballroom gowns, and the men all looking debonair in their tuxedos, exploiting different colours and varieties of accessories. But really, I was looking for one body in particular. I was trying to make it as discreet as I could, which I must admit was not done with maximum effort. As I turned my body to the left, trying to look in between the masses of silhouettes dancing on the dance floor, in the middle of the huge hall and the array of colours from the gowns, I felt a pair of eyes looking in my direction. He had noticed me first and had been watching me attentively. As our eyes locked, he smiled and proceeded to rise up from the table he was sitting at with 4 other people. He walked across the hall, cruising over towards me slowly, trying not to look eager, but his expressions told me otherwise. I knew Marcus was happy to see me. I could tell by the way he smiled at me, and why wouldn't he? We had not seen each other for ages. He was wearing a perfectly fitted black tuxedo with a silk gold cummerbund, and his round cufflinks were reflecting at me with every strode he took. I took a deep breath as he finally reached to my table. I rose to greet him as he leaned forward and gave me a big tight embrace, the kind of hug where your body melts and you don't want to let go. You lose all perception of your surroundings and fall into a fairy tale. I missed him so much. After he slowly released me from his incredibly tight grip, he took my hand and guided me to sit down, leading the conversation to catch up on the latest developments in each other's lives, taking it in turns to disclose enough information about our recent experiences for us to inquire more at a later stage. After talking for about an hour, with numerous people interrupting us, Marcus suggested that it was time we get up and enjoy the music instead of warming the seats. It's true. I had not paid an arm and a leg for my immaculate hairstyle and £250 to sit down in my silver low-cut ball gown. So I took him up in his offer, and I'm glad that I did. We danced so close that we merged like two butterflies, dancing in the summer breeze. Our bodies were pulsating with sweat. No matter what song we played, we danced. We danced until our feet hurt. It was like we were afraid to let one another out of each other's grip, as though we would fall into an abyss and never feel each other again. It was crazy. The best thing about the night was that we both had reservations at the hotel, meaning that we could dance until the end. The older crowd had begun to disperse, some resigning to their seats and a few to their rooms. It was mainly the young couples remaining on the dance floor, enjoying the moments, surrounded by the warm glow of the dim lights and astounding white decor, which made you feel like a princess. It was perfect. The way in which Marcus's body moved was so sensual. I could feel his every muscle against the most sensitive parts of my slim structure. He was so seductive without even knowing it. Damn, we were two young professionals here for a business event, and here I was feeling like we were the only two people in the room. I pondered on the thought of him feeling the same way that I was. But why would he? We had been best friends back in college, and we hadn't seen each other in 3 years. Why would he feel the way my body was reacting to him now? Maybe it was the several glasses of champagne talking. Or maybe it's my inner self coming out. Whatever it was driving me crazy. "You feel so soft," Marcus whispered into my ear while he ran his soft hands against my back. I can't believe the turnout. It's nice to be here. What was I mumbling? I wanted to tell him that he was making my body hot all over and causing fluctuations between my legs. Yeah, it's a nice venue, and they actually hired a decent DJ. "Janet, are you okay? Because you seem a bit distracted." "I'm fine, Marcus, honestly. I just haven't drank like this for ages, or even danced like this for a long, long time." "Yeah, not since that time you had a date with that producer guy," he slyly laughed. Yeah, he knew everything about my past relationships or brief encounters. He was practically my diary throughout college. In a way, it was a good thing. There was nothing to hide. We already knew everything we both had done. We knew each other inside out. I pushed him playfully away. "Trust you to remember that, Marcus." "Oh, I don't forget anything, babe. You know, you look really beautiful tonight." "Thanks, so do you. I must admit, you scrubbed up well," I joked. Finally, he had noticed. I had especially searched for this gown for weeks, making sure that it hugged in all the right places, strictly because I knew Marcus would be here alone. We had spoke about coming here last month during one of our irregular brief conversations, and he had informed me that he would normally bring one of his admirers, but he wanted to catch up and spend time with me rather than accommodate some woman tonight who was trying to win over his affection with the hope of securing the key to exclusivity. After Lyod's version of At Your Best had stopped playing, the DJ changed the genre and put on some revival. "Hey, you ready to leave? You look like you're going to fall over." "Yeah, I take it you're tired as well. It's almost 3 o'clock and my feet are starting to burn me." "Exactly. Let's just slip away," he whispered, holding me by the waist like a delicate flower. That was fine with me. We slipped out of the banqueting hall and passed a young dark-skinned man in a grey tuxedo, talking to one of the daughters of the organisers, holding on to the intention of trying to get a telephone number or the number of a hotel room she was in. Marcus and I laughed as we walked up the stairwell towards the elevator, remembering the days when he used to think he was the Mac Daddy for the ladies. The doors to the lift opened and we staggered inside, pressing the button for the 3rd floor. Wall-to-floor mirrors surrounded the inside of the elevator, and I caught the gaze of my reflection. Damn, my eyes looked tired. But more importantly, I never noticed how perfect Marcus' back was even from behind. The length of his back was astonishing. It complemented his long neck and wide, manly shoulders. The tux was definitely a good look on him. Exhale. The elevator doors opened as we reached the 3rd floor. Stepping out, I led the way. We had to walk through the long corridor, passing numerous pieces of antique oak furniture and various original art pictures by artists which I'd never heard of. I stopped at my door. Room 345. Oh my gosh, I really needed to take off these heels. I could hardly stand up. "Jay, where's your key?" I reached into my purse and took out the key card, fumbling with the security door for the green light to come on. I was becoming impatient. Eventually, after 3 attempts, it finally opened. I believe Marcus held it open while I entered. My hotel room was small, but had a warm, cosy atmosphere. There was a double bed in the middle of the room, the side table with a TV above, and all the commodities surrounding. The ensuite bathroom was to the front of the room near the door. Luckily, I had left some scented candles burning in the room, as it helps me to relax, and I must admit, it also helps set the mood. Right, let me make you some coffee. You don't want to have a pulsating headache in the morning. You know what you're like. Oh, I love the way he took charge. My mind suddenly pondered on what he was like in between the sheets. I could just imagine, by the way he moves his mocha chocolate extra tone body, I would expect him to have mad skills, especially as all the women he had been with did not want to let him go so easily. Marcus stood across the bed, beside the dresser where the small kettle and complimentary refreshments were situated, waiting for the kettle to boil. As soon as it did, he poured the water into the 2 mugs and turned to sit down beside me. He grinned as he handed me my coffee and sat sipping his drink. I was feeling so horny right now. Marcus's body had done things to me during that dance that I haven't felt in over a year. The way that he'd held me told me that I was having the same effect on him. But hey, we're friends, and that's how it would remain. Jay, you know something? He looked so delicious as he sat and turned towards me to talk. What's up? I'm glad that you had a nice time tonight. I haven't seen you for so long, and you still look the same. You know, all that work you've been doing lately, you haven't had time to relax and enjoy yourself. I know, it's been hectic recently. Before I could finish my sentence, he cut in. You look really beautiful tonight, and I enjoyed dancing with you. We haven't really danced like that before. I mean, it was nice. Marcus, you dance like that all the time with your girlfriends. Hey, don't hate, but nah, it was never like that. Your body. He took his cue and leant closer, touching my chin, then slowly pressing his smooth lips against mine. Oh, he felt so damn good. I had to respond the only way I knew how to, the way my body wanted me to. I was melting with pure desire. I grabbed him closer as our tongues danced together, exploring places which I forgot existed. My body tingled as he caressed my erogenous zones. My body responded like it had never been touched before. I was wet all over. I failed to fight the feeling any longer, and my body gave in. After my body exploded, he continued to kiss his way further up, and he then completely removed my dress. I wanted him now. I wanted to feel him inside of me, deep inside of me. Marcus continued with what he had started, tasting and kissing me all over my body, slowly but passionately. I held his back so tight, I could feel his blood racing and the pounding of his heart. Take me, I whispered into his ear. Marcus reached inside his trouser pocket and took out protection from his wallet and slowly took off the rest of his clothes, seducing me with his every movement. My breath sped up, anticipating his silhouette, waiting for him to be ready for me. Once he had it on, I could see the full size of his manhood. Wow, what an impressive package it was. He climbed on top of me slowly. Damn, I was going to explode again, and he hasn't even put it inside of me yet. I can't believe I'm feeling like this. Finally, he entered deep inside my love nest, our bodies intertwined like 2 locks of hair. Damn, he felt so good. He sliced deeper and deeper. Sweat was dripping down our bodies, but neither one of us was ready to climax. We were both trying to hold back the intense feeling of releasing the passion which we had been holding inside for a lifetime. It feels too good to stop. I move in and kiss his small but erect nipples. As he moans out with pleasure, his hands caressed my body as if I was a smooth lace of the finest silk. We continued to make love between the sheets. It was so perfect. It felt so right. In the heat of the moment, we sweated, changed positions, holding each other firmly. Oh, Marcus, I whispered. Janet, you feel so right. We exchanged kisses on each other's neck. He held my firm breasts while I got lost in his ecstasy. I grabbed his defined buttocks and commanded him to thrust deeper. Right there, I couldn't get the rest of his name out. It was a feeling I'd yearned for and craved for what seemed like an eternity. The passion continued until I was no longer in control of my sexual emotions. I began to tremble. I moaned out loudly and held him tighter, sinking my nails into his back. I knew he could feel my emotions releasing. The feeling of complete and total euphoria was overpowering. I don't know how, but Marcus sensed what my body was going through. At that same time, I felt him shudder. He growled, grasping my hands, squeezing tightly. We climaxed together. We lay on the ruffled bedding in silence for the next 20 minutes, waiting to catch our breath. and come back to our senses, while he continued to be affectionate by softly playing with my hair and stroking my arms until reality struck me. I suddenly rose up and tangled in our locked bodies. Don't say a word. But Jay, look. I'm sorry. The drink got the better of me. I didn't mean to. Jay, I enjoyed every moment of it. Don't apologise. But Marcus, we shouldn't have. But we did. You wanted it, and I know I sure wanted it. What are you saying? I'm saying we shouldn't have done this. He looked on at me, confused. A long silence followed. Do you want me to go? I sighed. Yeah, I think it's for the best. What was wrong with me? I couldn't look at him. Marcus eased his body out of the bed and searched for his clothes, which were lying all over the room. Once he found them, he quickly put them on, composed himself, and walked towards the door. He paused for a brief moment, like he was trying to find something appropriate to say, but decided against it, and continued to open the door before walking out, closing it behind him. Without looking back, he was gone. Why did I let him walk out the door? Truth was, I enjoyed it all too. I longed to hold him that close and feel him inside of me like that for years. And now the moment had finally arrived, and I practically kicked him out. Why did I do that? I was scared. I didn't want to spoil the friendship we had recently rekindled, and I could not handle the aftermath or the possibility that we would never be the same again. Now here he was walking across Oxford Street. We hadn't spoken a word of that night afterwards, and our friendship grew further and further apart. Marcus got a promotion and moved to Luton to work at another branch of his law firm, Braxton & Co, and we never had enough time to call due to my busy schedule as well as his. I was confused. I had no idea that he was back in London. The sight of him made my heart flutter like a schoolgirl. I wanted to go over to him and say hello, but we had not spoken properly in about 8 months. The last time he rang, it was a quick hello to make sure I was okay, and that was it. Now there he was in the flesh, and looking as good as I can remember, or maybe even better. He had a fresh trim with his goatee beard and moustache perfectly joined together, his mocha chocolate skin shining like the glow of a radiant fire. My gosh, what am I doing looking at his every perfection? If only I could pluck up the courage to go over and say hi. I'm sure he would ignore me, but my feet would not move. I had frozen at the sight of him. He had that power over me. He was my kryptonite, and he had made me as weak as I could ever be. No one else has ever had that effect on me to this day. He was now out of vision as he entered the doors of Selfridges and became lost within the crowd. I can breathe again. I have to phone Leah and let her know Marcus was back in London.